All right, bam, we're live. Welcome, folks. Let's get this started. All right, just a minute here while we get everything lined up. If you're new, welcome. Let us know where you're from. We'll get you squared away. Hi there. Welcome. We're getting started in just a minute. If you're new, just let us know what part of the country you're from. We're on day 84. And please feel free to ask any questions that come up. All right. Handy Hubby, if you're still here, please just let us know where you're from. What part of the country? Welcome. We're getting started. Just let us know where you're from. All right. I'll talk for a few minutes. I'm going to talk to you. Tonight's a big night. We move into Pillar 6, marketing. A lot of people think the word marketing is pretty straightforward, and there's a lot more to it if you want to have it work for you. There's a lot more to it than just putting an ad in the paper or putting a logo on the van. You can be a lot more successful when you have a really dialed in marketing plan. So anyway, Oak Ridge, if you're new, let me know where you're from. All right, here we go. Most remodelers don't have a brand. They just have a business card. Maybe they got a logo. Their truck might have some fancy graphics on it. Hey guys, welcome. If you're new, just let us know where you're from. Hey JC. All right. But here's the thing. Just having your truck wrapped or having a business card or a couple t-shirts, that's not a brand. A brand is what people say about you when you're not around. It's the feeling that you create for the customer. What do they think when they're going to hire you? In remodeling, trust, safety, reputation, they're the three killers, right? Your brand is your advantage in that arena. So your message has to speak that to the homeowner if you want it to do well for you. Welcome, guys. If you're new, just let us know where you're from. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have about remodeling in general. Welcome. And yeah, just tell us what part of the country you operate in. You can always let us know what niche you're in, what's your specialty. So I'll get into a couple stories about marketing and brand, and you can see why some businesses make it and why others don't. And sometimes it's not because the guy's not talented. It's because they just didn't understand some basic business acumen. All right, so let's break this down. A remodeling brand identity. Yeah, what is it, right? It's who you serve, like your ideal client. It's what you say. What is your message and the tone that you guys use it? Are you the sarcastic, funny guy, right? Are you the straight talker? How do you show up? Talk to me about your visuals. What's your communication style? How do you guys treat the client? What's your attitude towards the industry as a whole? And what does the client feel when they think about your company? Is it trust? Is it professionalism? Is it credibility? Or is it this guy doesn't know what he's doing? He'll give us a cheap price, right? Are you Discount Joe? That's what some clients might be saying about you. That's what a brand is. The brand is what people think and say about you when you're not around to speak for yourself. So again, it's not just your logo. It's not your identity. And it's everything. It's the way you answer the phone. It's the way that you keep your vehicle. It's the tone that you write in your proposals. Billy, welcome. If you're new, let me know where you're from. It's the clarity of your contracts. It's the confidence that you bring to that homeowner's kitchen table. Hey guys, welcome. If you're new, let me know where you're from. Some of you don't realize, like, I had to learn this the hard way. When I sat down with the homeowner and discussed their project, they had to look at me and feel like I knew exactly what it was going to take to get them from where they were through the demo phase to the final project completion. If they had any doubt that I didn't know how to take them 100%, they weren't going to hire me. They're going to get an estimate from me so they can use it to price check the guy they're going to hire. Hey, Jay Allen, welcome. But most likely they're not hiring me if they don't trust me 100%. Good to see you, brother. Hope you had an awesome weekend. So, for anybody else here that's new, welcome. Be sure to let us know where you're from. Put it in the chat so we can get an idea for what part of the country we got represented here. So, Jay Allen, tonight, first night of Pillar 6. Put that there. And that's where we get into marketing. I know it's backwards for you guys. Marketing, advertising, right? We talk about what's called the ideal client and how do you track your marketing results to see if they're working, and how do you come up with a solid plan? Awesome. So the next several days till we get to 100, what I've done, like the other ones, each day builds on the next. So at the end of this phase, these 15, 16 days, you'll understand how to take your business for the next year if you want to really start diving into effective marketing. And I say that because just because you have a nice embroidered shirt, you have a fancy hat, you got some graphics on the van and a business card, that's not effective marketing. You have to take it to the next step. People need to really start to see and understand. So, and I'll share a couple examples here before I go too much farther. Give me let me, maybe, you know what? Maybe the ads are here. Give me 1 second. All right. Thank you for that. So this is how companies are marketing, right? You got flyers, postcards, you got ads in paper, you got people offering coupon services, you got people dropping stuff off in the mailbox, the doors, you got business cards, right? All that's marketing, advertising. What you want is the right message. You want whatever piece you're going to put out there, you want it to say things that specifically speak to the person that is your best client, the ideal client. Simple things like this. The reason why a lot of people have to discount and get asked about their price is because they're marketing to people that don't have a lot of money. Poor people, people that are struggling, people that are living more paycheck to paycheck, they shop off a price discount, you know. Rich people that have more money, they have less time. So they shop off of convenience. How quickly and easily can you solve my problem? I don't have a lot of time to be putting behind this. Can you take care of all the details, Jay Allen? That's how you know you're behind a wealthy client. When they start saying, can I just call you and you'll solve the issue for me? That person generally is not price checking. They're just trying to get the problem solved first time, efficiently and effectively. It doesn't mean they might not ask about cost because they just want to have parameters, but they're not going to be nickeling and diming you. The person that's down here, the broke person, they don't think in value of time. They only shop and focus on price. So some guys, the reason they're having a lot of trouble is because they're marketing to the wrong person from day one. And then they go out and they're like, well, every customer I talk to is trying to beat me up on price. Yeah, brother, because they're poor, they're broke. Like that person doesn't have money. You want to find the person that has money but doesn't have time. All right. So hopefully that's a big light bulb for some people. So all the things that matter are your vehicle, how you present yourself, the image. Do you answer the phones right away? Do you respond with a follow-up text message and email? Do you give the client confidence that your company is going to be able to, be handed the ball and run it to the goal line? Most remodelers get all this wrong. And it makes sense because it's not always the first thing you think of. It's not intuitive in a sense. Um, I had a guy down the street from me back before the economic crash, and on his van, it says, I lay it, I nail it, I screw it. He was a hardwood floor guy. That was his brand. That's what he put out to the public. That's what he wore on his t-shirts. That's what was on his van. And I had a company that marketed much differently. We said, you dream it, we build it. He got very frustrated during the crash. He was constantly calling and asking, how am I still getting business? Why is it that he doesn't see my trucks parked at my house when his van and his guys aren't working? And I'm not there to tell him that maybe the Joanne, the mother of 3 kids who needs hardwood floors and is in a babysitting co-op in a neighborhood, doesn't want your van parked in front of her house when all the kids are coming over to play for the day. Because it says, we nail it, we lay it, we screw it. Like, you have to, some guys are just shooting themselves in the foot. I know it's cool. And like that guy gets a lot of high fives from his buddies, right? He's at the party. Everybody's like, that van's the best, Joe. I love your shirts. But the homeowner is embarrassed and will not be having that guy park in their neighborhood. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about brand marketing. All right. You can't let your ego get in the way on this one. Some of the cheesiest things are what the homeowners feel the safest with. So how do you have a brand by default? Because some guys just let the market define them. They don't have an intentional voice. They don't have a message that really speaks. Some guys just say we fix it all. No job too big, no job too small. That's not a good message. Okay. Some guys are just mimicking what the other guy does. They just copy what all the other contractors do. How many of them say no job too big, too small? And when you start, I get it. You don't know what else to say because you haven't come up with your brand. You haven't come up with your message. Eventually, you want to switch that to your niche, your specialty. Okay. You want to build that identity that positions you as the trusted, safe, smart, premium choice. Look at all the insurance, all the big companies. What do they all talk about? You're in good hands with Allstate. They don't talk about we're the best insurance company. Nationwide is on your side. It's all about building trust with the homeowner. You'll start to notice this if you pay attention to huge corporations that have invested millions of dollars in hiring marketing companies, experts to come out and sit down with them. None of these companies go, we're the best insurance carrier in the tri-state area. We sell insurance better than anybody. They just talk about we're the safest company to go with. We're the company that's going to be there when you have an emergency. The same should be true for your remodeling business. All right. Remember, you want to position yourself as safe, as smart, and as a premium choice. Those are my suggestions. Because most homeowners are scared to death who they hire, that it's not going to work out. Now, how do you go about building this strong brand identity? I have 5 elements that I think you should focus on. One is your positioning, okay? And what space do you want to own in the homeowner's mind? Think about that for a minute. When the homeowner thinks of your company, what do you want them to think? Are you the stress-free remodeler? The one who takes care of all the details? Are you the cheapest guy that they can call and you'll beat the other guys by 10%? Are you the guy that never calls anyone back and they have to wait 3 days? Are you a design first company that comes out and does a plan and gives the homeowner the whole roadmap? Are you a kitchen transformationalist that can turn any kitchen nightmare into a beautiful, pleasing dream project for the homeowner? Right? That's what you want to think about. Regardless of your trade, like Jay Allen, think about what most homeowners want at the end of the day when it comes to a plumbing solution. That's kind of what you want them to think about when they think of your company. Like no leaks, no drips, right? Everything's working well. You start thinking through what is it the homeowner wants to know that this company comes out, they fix it once, they fix it right. I don't have to worry. They don't make more problems. I have an aunt and uncle. They have two properties, and I might have shared this the other night. One of the properties they're at right now, it's an older brick rancher from the 70s. It still had the original furnace. It just went up. They needed a new furnace. They shopped a couple companies. They thought they were making the smart choice. The company they chose can't get anything right. First, couldn't even get the equipment on time. Had problems with that. Then they didn't have a technician qualified enough to install the equipment that they ordered. So then they had to get some training from the manufacturer. Then the person got injured. And then the person who got trained got injured. So now the person can't install the unit. Then the unit gets installed. Now it doesn't work. It's leaking because it's a oil-fired boiler for a water heater system that has the old copper pipes with the fins, right? And now it's leaking and it shuts itself off after 12 hours. It's been 2 weeks and they still don't have a functioning furnace. I mean, some companies just don't know what they're doing. I'll get back. I kind of went off track a little there for a minute. Yes. That's a very good way to look at it, Jam. You want to think about like what is the homeowner going to think of when they think of your company, you know? So there's the second part is your ideal client avatar. We're going to talk in detail on day 85 about this. So you don't have to worry about it today. Just know that we're going to get to it. But every great brand is built for someone specific. None of us are here to serve everyone. Yes, in a sense, like Jay Allen, you could say, well, I'm here to, I can repair anyone's plumbing problem. But in reality, most likely you're not here to repair poor people's plumbing that don't have any money, unless you start like a charity service, but for the most part, you want to repair plumbing for people that are respectful, for people that have money, for people that respect you and value what you do, right? So that's how we start building up our ideal client. For me, it's someone who's usually between 40 and 60. It's generally a traditional husband and wife. And because they have a much for me, I find they have a very stable home life. Not always, but a lot. Usually their kids have either just graduated high school or maybe are finishing up college. So they're starting to be where they call that empty nesters. They've been waiting for years to do remodels. They have money. They've either inherited some money from like when their parents have passed, or they've just been saving money over the last 20, 30 years that they've been working, and they are ready to do that remodel. To me, that is my ideal client. Okay. You have to come up with who works for you and who is your ideal client. In my years, when someone called me and I found out that they were about 28 and this was their first home and they were thinking about doing a kitchen remodel, I already knew that they didn't know what they were getting into. I already knew that they were going to want someone cheap. I already knew that they were going to be unrealistic about all their expectations. And I noticed that that's not who I want to deal with. So I would just recommend they call someone else. I don't need to waste my time with that client because I focus on who my ideal client is. Because every time you work with who isn't ideal, you now have taken away a slot to work for the ideal client. All right. Third thing is you have to come up with what's called your unique selling proposition. We'll talk about that on day 86. And that's what makes you the best solution for your ideal client. Okay. So There's a little more to that. Don't worry, we'll get to it. The next step is your brand, your voice, your message. So at some point, you'll want to come up with some sort of a logo for your company, an image, and some sort of a spokesperson, whether it's a real person or it's a caricature, right? Like look at all the insurance companies. They have found that some sort of an animal, in a sense, is something that's cute and funny and everyone loves it. Coca-Cola has what? The big white polar bear, you know. Burger King had the king, McDonald's has Ronald McDonald. A lot of these big companies come up with some sort of a person that or thing, like a character who's going to be their spokesperson. On the local level, a lot of like car dealerships, remodelers, it's usually the owner. Okay. So it's up to you, but you have to figure out who's going to be your spokesperson, who's going to be the person that talks about your company and homeowners get comfortable seeing them. All right. And then you have to figure out your style. Are you going to be calm and classy? Are you going to be the bold, abrasive, the no nonsense? Or are you going to be like a little funny, but professional, right? You have to come up and you base that off of your personality and how you want to roll with it. And then last, you come up with your visual identity. Those are your colors. So your colors should stay consistent. The fonts, literally the typeset, whatever font that is, that should stay consistent so companies recognize you every time. Your logos, your templates, whatever is your website style, that imagery should be consistent across everything. Whatever types of photography imagery you use, that should start being consistent. At the end of the day, consistency is key. Homeowners get more comfortable when they keep seeing the same thing. They're like, oh, I recognize that guy. Think of like the Owings Corning Pink Panther. You know that. They don't even have to say it. When you see that on TV or in the store, you're like, that's insulation. I know that. That's eventually what you want your business to have within your area, your market. All right. So yeah. So that's what I have for us tonight. Hopefully that helps you guys. Next several days are gonna be pretty cool, especially if you want to get into doing some marketing, growing the business a little bit, or think of it in two ways. I have a lot of guys that I work with, and yeah, and this might interest you a little bit. It's not always about growing the team. It's about some of the guys just want to have more profitable projects. So they might still want to do the same volume approximate for next year because they don't want to grow the team anymore. They like where they're at as far as their employee count, but they want to be more profitable. And one of the ways we can do that is by changing who we advertise to and moving up the ladder, getting towards people that are willing to spend a little bit more money for the convenience factor. So it's no different than think about the hotel chains. There's a hotel for every person's price point, right? If you've ever stayed at like a little roadside motel inn or like the Days Inns or what Motel Sixes, like they're just convenience, right? You just come in, you get somewhere, it's cheap, everything's cheap, right? The sheets are cheap, the room, the carpeting, I mean, it's all just a cheap, but you just need a bed. And then you go up the chain and there's higher end hotels that have concierge services and have hot tubs and saunas and fitness rooms and continental breakfasts and room service, right? And they all cost more as they go up because they give you more value. At the end of the night, you're just sleeping there for the most part. That's the same. Remodeling is just like that. There are guys that can just come out and do the simple thing, build a deck. It's going to be the best. It's going to be the most basic deck ever. No screws. It's just nails. It's all pressure treated. It might not be cut all straight. And the framing might not be square, but it's a deck, right? And as you go up the price, maybe now we're going to get one that's built better, 2x10s instead of 2x8s. Maybe we're going like 12 inches on center instead of 24 or 16. You see what I'm saying? And you keep going up. Maybe now we're going to have steel framing or composite framing and then composite decking. Now we're going to add lighting. Well, the price goes up with that. So all of that is also how you market yourself. What style deck are you going to be known for building? And who's your ideal client? So, all right. Any questions, Jayon? You have a busy weekend. How are things? You all ready for the upcoming day here? What's going on? Always ready. Able to figure out the solution quickly. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. All right. You're gonna wrap up that nice inspection. Get that. You're gonna bring some donuts and a coffee for that inspector. No, I'm just kidding. Make sure you pass on the first go round. Very cool. Okay. Very cool. What's the new project? Okay. What do you what are your thoughts on that? Is it something that you weren't aware of? Is it something that the inspector was being a little nitpicky about? What are your thoughts on the section that that didn't pass? Customer needs to pay the meter fee. Ah, interesting. Okay. That's not on you then. Yeah, I mean, well, now you know, I guess going forward, hey, we won't be able to get you we won't be able to get our little sticker until you get that meter set up. Okay. All right, very cool. Well, I'd say that's a win for you. That's nothing on your work, you know? So awesome job. Congratulations. Yep. Just cover back up. Fair enough. Mm. And what was the tell me about the small project. What was that? 'Oh, look at you. Okay. You're paying for the reinspect fee. Interesting. How much is that in your area? Like 20 bucks? 75. Damn. Okay. Makes sense. Well, good. I'm sure they're appreciative of that. Oof. Okay. So that tenant's going to be a little upset with the landlord at this point if it's been 3 months. Mm, very cool. No outside clean out. Okay. So will you have to dig and cut into the pipe and put out an outside clean out in there, or what are you going to do different that the other companies, what I'm asking you? What will you do that's going to be different so that you can solve the problem where the other companies couldn't? Got it. You found the main. Okay. Do you have one of those do you do a snake with a camera? The main was clear to the city. Okay. Got it. So you have the camera. You have to guess how many feet that you've sent out, right? You don't have the sensor that I got you. Were you able to was the camera able to pinpoint the issue? Like, is there a root blockage? Do you know what a cracked pipe? Got it. Okay. And how far out did you have to? How far can your do you think the problem is away from the house, or are you still not even sure where the problem is? Do you have to come back to figure all that out? Ooh. Hey, it's good for you. Sucks for the homeowner, but that's good for you. Oh, all right. So I guess this is a little bit of an older house then. Yeah. I bet you it's something shifted over time and probably cracked the pipe. Unless you see a lot of roots and trees and yeah. It's all you can do. Yeah. Well, good. You'll bring out your concrete saw, your jackhammer. You'll break everything up, make a big mess, do some hand digging, find that broken pipe wherever it is. Hmm. Yeah, does this have a basement or a crawl space? Just out of curiosity. You guys have mainly crawl spaces, right? So this is a slab, so there's not even a crawl space. It's right on the. So you have to. Is that what I'm hearing? You're just breaking right through. There's no. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So most likely, exactly when that house shifted, if it was, especially if they tried to put some fill dirt and they didn't compact in lifts properly, absolutely that foundation probably shifted. Probably right. Is it a block wall or is it a poured? Did they do a mono where they poured the slab and then you know what I mean? I bet most likely it's probably where some yeah. Pier and beam with brick on the exterior. Okay. All right. So maybe one of the footers or something. Yeah. Well, good for you. You'll have fun with that one. Yeah. A lot of for sure. This is why you get paid the big bucks. Mm. Yeah, at least you're the guy that gets to solve the problem as opposed to the one who's like, "I don't know what to do," and then they call the next guy. I mean, if to me, it's a good thing. So awesome. Congrats. All right. Well, let me ask you, is there anything you have any questions about marketing, advertising, building your brand, anything from at all? Any questions? Otherwise, we might wrap up tonight and then be ready for a big one, another one tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, showing the customer transparency. Yeah. I find that yeah, so in this situation you're dealing with the landlord, right? And unless I'm assuming the landlord's paying for all this cuz this doesn't seem to me to be a tenant issue. I know sometimes the tenants are paying, but in this case I'm assuming it's the landlord that's paying. So yeah, if you just let them know that hey, I can only let you know what we know, and that's how remodeling is sometimes because none of us can you can't see through concrete. Neither can they, so the only way you can get there is by breaking it up, digging it out. Sure. you know but this is definitely an issue that they have to get addressed. They couldn't let this sit, so that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just you keep them abreast of the situation, keep them updates, show them some phone calls. That's awesome. What do you think is different about your approach that you think they like so much? Okay. So maybe you just have a better approach of saying, I'll do this. And since that's not working, next we're going to do this and we'll see where that gets us. And then next we'll do, yeah, very cool. All right. Sure. Process work. Yep. Understood. One step at a time. Awesome. Think you'll get the results for 'em one way or the other. At least you're going to know what the problem is. You think you'll have to do, is this one where, do you guys use the sleeve concept where you will reline, or do you think you'll cut everything out, or you don't know yet until you see it farther? Okay. So for you right now, it's going to be, we're going to cut out whatever's damaged. Probably have to use like, uh, and cut, just rejoin the pipe together when you cut out the bad section once you figure it out. I got you. Just use those rubber couplings. Cool. All right. Yeah, I see some companies in our area that are big on that relining process. I don't know. We have a lot of in our area, so we have a lot of 1900s houses, right? So they have terracotta uh sometimes out in the yard, cast iron, you know. Well, you'll have a good day. All right. Well, I am assuming you're good. You don't have any other no thoughts, no questions, nothing on your mind. Um, I don't there's anybody else that has a remodeling question, marketing. Tomorrow or later tonight rather cuz it's already past midnight. Yeah, tomorrow will be the ideal. Okay, cool. We'll do the so I'll show you the process like a high level overview of how to create that ideal client avatar. So the way I came up with mine was after my first, I'd say like 8 months in business, I started working on a business plan for the following year. And that's where we identified what the ideal customer. All we did was we went back through our jobs for the last 8 months and I pulled up as much as I could figure out about all the good clients, right? For the most part. I mean, I would keep track of every client's demographic. I'd write down their approximate age. If I found out what type of work they do, we would write down the values of their homes, the neighborhoods they were in, um, and that's how we started building our ideal client avatar. And what we found over and over again was for us that we had one market that outweighed every other, one type of a demographic that just, man, they were so easy to work with. They didn't nickel and dime us. They would hire us routinely for multiple projects as long as when we did well on the first one. Money was never an issue. So I just looked at that and said, this is who I want to do all my work for, is this type of client. Now, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't work for someone that was outside of my demographic. What it meant was all of my marketing, all my advertising was geared around attracting that one certain demographic. If it pulled in somebody else that was outside of the norm, that was okay. As long as they could meet the other criteria, as long as they knew they had the money to pay for it, they were willing to work with us the way that we like to work as a client, customer, company, that relationship. So I would work with people outside of our demographic, but all the marketing, all the advertisement had one focus, one client that we really wanted to attract. And the way they really recommend you do this, Jayon, just for your knowledge, you should look over the last year. Wait a minute, is today you're at 1 year? Is this where you hit 1 year in business? November 3rd? Monday? Yeah. Oh, well then, hey, I missed it. High five. You're already 2 days. You're a veteran now. Look at you, old timer. Already been in business a year and 2 days. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. Yeah, high five. Exactly. I that's awesome. Congratulations. So, part of this exercise for tomorrow, think back over the last year. Who was the best client that you worked for and what made them the best, And ask yourself, was it an anomaly? Like, was there some an anomaly? I can't even say the word. Was there something that was off about that client, or was the best client for the year? Is that who you would like to have 100 of this upcoming year? And then the question becomes, how do we find 100 of that type of a client? And that's who we target and go after. What neighborhoods do they live in? How do we find them on social media? What's our message got to be like? How do we work with our personality to help attract that person? What are the problems that we have to solve and advertise for so that we attract that person? That's the whole concept when you break it down. All right. Well, again, Jayon, congratulations. Yeah, the plumbing. Awesome. Yeah, it's fun stuff, right? Uh, awesome. All right, Jayon, you enjoy. Now that you're a veteran, we're going to expect big things from you. So, night. Take care.